Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Pawsey's Capital Refresh podcast. Today, I have Stacey Tyson, Pawsey's Capital Refresh project manager with me, as well as Dr. Maciej Satowski, the head of scientific services at the Pawsey Supercomputing Centre. Today, we're making a pre-announcement on Pawsey's upcoming PACER program. Maciej, can you tell me what the PACER program is?
Thanks, Aditi. Yes, so together with opening new HPC systems, having those systems open for the users, we are usually running various initial programs, early science or early adopters programs. For the PSS, so the Pawsey Supercomputing System, we'll be looking into running a kind of a extended formula of this program.
So Maciej, this sounds like a similar early adopter program that we did last time with Magnus. What is the difference between the PACER program that we're doing now and the programs that we've run in the past?
Yeah, so the main purpose of this program will be to create a very close collaboration between Pawsey and selected PACER projects. That will be at least 3-year-long commitments, a bit different than in our previous projects of that kind. We'll be working on new scales of science and research in various scientific areas. Another thing special about PACER program is that it is related to a co-funding. This co-funding will be used to create embedded PhD or postdoctoral positions, working partially on scientific part of those projects as well as technical aspects of those projects in collaboration with PACER projects and Pawsey staff.
So why have you made this a pre-announcement as opposed to a standard announcement that we usually do?
This is to make sure that the researchers will be prepared to apply for PACER grants. As I already described, it will be a significant commitment from researchers, and we know that especially addressing the co-funding part as well as the long-term collaboration is something that researchers will need to prepare for.
So you've mentioned the different scientific groups as well as the embedded PhD and postdoctoral positions. What type of scientific projects can apply for this program?
So the PACER program is targeted in various computational and data science areas. We'll be looking at projects that can make a significant impact on a given scientific computing discipline by developing and optimizing new algorithms for large-scale simulations, data processing, machine learning, or visual analysis. So PACER program committee will be also taking a portfolio approach and might suggest a few projects to join to just have a wider coverage of various research disciplines.
Okay, so you've just mentioned a program committee. Who are they and what will this review process be?
Yeah, so the PACER program committee will be both internal and external. We'll be looking at running a review process based on merits, technical aspects of the proposals, as well as the proposed collaboration and co-funding model. For the scientific and technical parts of the review, we'll be looking at computational impacts of the project outcomes on the scientific domain. One of the important components of PACER program will be the grand challenge problems. So we'll basically ask applicants to define grand challenge problems to be run on the next generation supercomputer when it will become available. So you can actually see the PACER program as a preparation for running a simulation or a data processing challenge on the new system when it becomes available, and basically to achieve new scales, new discoveries, and accelerated science. We're also planning to align other Pawsey activities like training, internships, and seminars with PACER as part of our community building exercise. Those collaboration models have proven their success in various leading supercomputing facilities around the world, and that's something we are looking at and we'll be very happy to run at Pawsey.
So that's a lot of information to take in. We've talked about what the program is, how it's measured, the types of projects who can apply. When will researchers be able to apply for these PACER grants?
So as I mentioned earlier, the main reason for this pre-announcement is to make sure that researchers, universities, and institutions are ready to apply for such a unique opportunity. However, we think that it's very important to have the PACER project announced together with the Pawsey Supercomputing System later this year, so that researchers do have some initial knowledge about the architecture of the system itself.
What kind of information should they prepare in anticipation for this program?
Researchers will have to provide an information about technical and scientific challenges of their proposals, a pathway to achieving the next scale of performance on the new system, as well as some information about the collaboration model itself, collaboration and co-funding model itself, so their proposal on how that can be run together with Pawsey.
Thank you, Marsha, for all of this information on the PACER program and this pre-announcement. For all of you that are listening, I have a link in the description to Pawsey's website, which has more information on this as well. This stuff is really exciting, but I'm also wondering what else is happening in the Capital Refresh program.
Well, Aditi, following on from our last podcast where we announced Garawala, the new MWA computer cluster, Pawsey's now provided early adopter access to some of our MWA users. At this stage, approximately 30% of the cluster is operating. The remainder of the cluster will be operational in August following some power supply modifications at Pawsey. We've completed the migration of users to the new Nimbus infrastructure, and we've now started to decommission the old equipment. The requirements for our long-term storage have now been developed, and I think that's something we can discuss in a future podcast as we're changing our approach to long-term storage at Pawsey. We're also about to commence the supply and installation of the new ASCAP ingest nodes, and that should start to take shape on the floor in August. So as always, there's lots of things going on.
All right, that's very cool. And yeah, like I mentioned before, there's a Capital Refresh update page on Pawsey's website. So this information that Marsha and Stacey have both mentioned will be up on that page, and there is a link in the description below. So Stacey, Marsha, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much, Aditi.
Thank you so much, Aditi.